The last minute takes forever. There we go. I got 9 o'clock. At this time, I'd like to call to order the Isabel County Board of Commissioners, Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee. First up, we have an approval of the agenda. Is there any need to change the agenda as presented?
I have no changes, Chair.
Okay, seeing nobody wanting to change that, we'll accept the agenda as presented. Okay, we'll start out with the next agenda item, which is a call to the public. Is there anybody who would like to speak from the public? I see no one physically in the room. Is there anybody online?
There's no one online, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, at that time, I would like to close the call to the public and we will have another opportunity at the end of the meeting if somebody wishes to make a comment at that time. So moving right into the agenda items, we have consider approving the purchase of an unmanned aerial vehicle, a UAV at the cost of $12,063.72 to reimburse by MMRMA and other donors and authorize the board chairperson to sign the same. And we have with us Sheriff Maine.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So this is a project we've been, contemplating for the last couple of years. The primary use of this UAV still is to map out fatal crash scenes. It has some specific software. Currently, when we go to a fatal crash on the roadway, it's very manpower intensive. We typically have our fire department partners out there blocking the road for us. By the time we get our crews out there and the deputies who are trained to do that kind of stuff, it takes upwards to an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. Sometimes that means there's still a deceased person in a vehicle. It's a safety hazard with us being on the road. It's an inconvenience to the drivers, as these roads are shut down and so forth. So this unit we'd be able to put some markers down. We fly it. It GPSs all of the locations and points that we would need, then it maps it out in a nice platform for us. So if there is a criminal case and or a civil litigation, that data is there. And it's one of the requirements that we do. We do have trained personnel that do that kind of work. And we do have a Part 107 pilot on scene or on employed that does that as well. So this project came from all donations and grants. We wrote a MMRMA grant for this, which is something they do provide grant funding for, obviously, in the tune of $6,031.86. That is a reimbursement. We have to pay that out first. About a year or so ago, we were contacted by Auto Solutions, and they wanted to donate to a project. At some point, we reached out to them, explained what this project was. They were all on board, so that gave us another $3,000. And then we wrote another grant to Isabella Credit Union. They gave us $500. So as we're doing that, we posted up on our Facebook page that, we appreciate the grants and the donations and so forth. Now unsolicited, people thought it was a good project and began to provide additional donations to us. Within 24 hours, we had others that came forward and donated the remainder of the project, which was phenomenal. Again, we didn't ask for that. That's just how the community is, and they were extremely generous and helped us get to the final number that we needed. There's actually 2 units that we'll be looking at. One is the bigger one that does the GPS mapping. That one will also be used for searching of endangered people. We get that quite often, and or suspects. The smaller unit is designed if we have a active violent situation versus putting a law enforcement officer into a residence or a building. We can fly this unit in. It has the guards on the wings. It has some sensors where it won't crash into the walls, and we can locate and find potential suspects. I can tell you, my career, there's been several times, not too more recent, that we've needed something like this versus putting a human body and a shield in on a gun type situation call. So we're pretty excited of having that capability of in those severe situations, being able to identify if we do have a, armed person in there or a dangerous situation before we put a live body in and try to engage that. So that is kind of the 260.
Okay, curiosity, is a UAV considered, is that a drone considered?
Yep, that's,
Basically, okay,
yep. That's the official name of it.
so, and I'm not current on state law, but I know that you operated a drone, you had needed a pilot's
Yeah.
license, that's still the same?
There's a couple different ways. So, I've attended some training myself. So there's a Part 107, which makes you a pilot. We do have an employee on staff that is a Part 107 already. Then there is a law enforcement waiver we can get, which allows us to fly that without the Part 107. We probably would opt to maybe one more person do Part 107. You can do them, the college has it and different things. So we would probably have to do one more Part 107 pilot, just because gives a little more flexibility. You can fly at different times. There are some requirements with FAA, with the airport, but we communicate with them as well. All of these have for the layman terms, it's a beacon that all the pilots can see these beacons off these drones now, so there's no issues with that. We communicate when we have an airship come in from Michigan State Police on some of these situations. We always communicate if we have drones in the air, and they'll tell us what level to fly at and or to ground them. So we kind of cover that as well. There's not really a lot of laws for UAVs. The FAA has a lot of requirements that are very hefty fines if people violate them, in the tunes of thousands of dollars. So it's just good to have the Part 107 pilots, but you can do a waiver.
I got one more, go ahead.
Go ahead, finish up.
Okay, the other question, they're for two drones. And I know, and of course, we're talking different agriculture, you're not allowed to have two drones flying at the same time in the same field, is that? I know they were working on the law to
Yeah.
change that, is that gonna be an issue?
So
We don't really see two of them at the same time, or,
So for law enforcement activities, it's kind of a different standard.
okay,
So we can fly, multiple drones and stuff. Those drone pilots have to communicate very well, obviously. I do know there is some different things for commercial, very different requirements and restrictions for commercial and business stuff. And I do know there's a lot of work being done on that, because there's a lot of value in like, especially the farming stuff. And it was interesting here about a year or so ago, I was coming down M20 and they had some that were flying, and doing some spray and stuff. And it's very spot spraying where they know where exactly GPS where they need to be. And these drones were huge, they were carrying fluid and stuff, but they were pretty interesting to
they're a
watch.
little more pricey than what you're buying here.
Way more. pricey.
We actually get one in there, but
Yeah.
you go look at not Michigan, because they don't allow it, but some of the other ones where you have 3 or 4 in there and you wonder how they don't crash. But
Yeah.
they look like bees, they're just flying around, and
It's kind of like that little one though. That little one has sensors into it. So like if
So
it comes to a wall or a ceiling, it knows and it'll stop. So it won't crash into that stuff. So they kind of monitor each other a little bit.
but I'm done. Bad.
My question is probably gonna need to be, I'm assuming addressed by legal. I see in the donations, there's 1,800 from anonymous.
Yeah.
And, I'm obviously not a lawyer, but, I was wondering, for a public, donation to the county, can there be anonymous donations?
Good question.
Well, we have the person's name. They just didn't want it out into the public.
Okay.
So we have it.
So-
Yeah, so it's there. They just didn't want to, they wanted to be left anonymous, so they didn't, we get those sometimes. You just
Right.
get people who just want to donate anonymously and don't, want their name out there, so.
Right.
But I will follow up.
Just check if we're required to publicly address that.
Okay,
Like,
Usually I'm thinking that as long as it's reported to the tax,
Yeah.
that's where
Right,
you get
right.
the problem, but yeah.
just, yeah. I guess I don't know the
No,
laws on that, so I just thought we'd check
Good question.
on that. But I don't really have anything else. I assume this can be used for a ton of different things like missing persons and.
We had an endangered, young lady, here probably 8, 9 months ago, and, we utilized some of our partners, CMU, the tribes, several of them have drones and stuff, and we spent all night looking for that person, but we flew the drones for quite a long time, and we actually had an airship come up and help, and we found her the next morning right after daylight. But it's just it's a great tool, and I can tell you probably in the last month I've heard them drones called out 2 or 3 times for different events throughout the county of different agencies. So they're being utilized a lot right now. It really will be nice to be able to map these crash scenes, and we can do crime scenes too. And to be honest, we had a fatality. It ends up being it was a charged case criminally, and we flew the length of the scene, extremely helpful to the prosecutor, to the juries, to the defense attorneys, to be able to see the entire scene from an aerial view, a bird's eye view, and we plan on using a lot of that kind of stuff. So,
Do they like infrared? Is that?
yeah,
That was my question.
Yeah.
So at night,
yeah, you can fly night
Energy.
missions with it. Yep, and the infrared and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, these are pretty fancy ones. These DJIs are pretty much the standard for this kind of missions that we'll be flying.
Make a motion, move to bring forward the purchase of an unmanned aerial vehicle at a cost of $4,063.70 to be reimbursed by MMRMA and other donors to the Board of Commissioners meeting next Tuesday.
I will support that. There's a motion on the floor. Is there any more discussion?
The only thing I'll say is, there's no general fund dollars coming for this project at all. I didn't mention that. I probably should have. And then that reimbursement, the second that it's paid, and then we get the receipt, then we submit that to MMRA and they reimburse us. So.
Okay, any more discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say. That motion has passed and we'll push that forward. Thank you. Okay, next up, consider approving the Isabel County Public Defender's Office to begin an 11-week internship program with compensation of $8,800 to be paid out of the contractual service line item in the Public Defender's Office budget, and authorize the board chairperson to sign the same. Have Public Defender Houseman with us today.
Morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I was actually, this all came about because, we had a local person, from Shepherd, went to CMU, actually used to be a legal secretary in our office. She got a full ride to Michigan State Law School and wants to come back and work for us as an internship. We originally didn't have this in our grant application with MIDC, an internship program. It is something that a lot of other public defenders offices do. I did include it as a specific line item in next year's grant, figuring this is something we could continue to build upon. It's the same dollar amount that the prosecutor's office pays their prosecuting attorneys association interns. Works a little bit differently with them because they actually transfer out $11,000 to Pam, who then pays the intern the $8,800. But obviously we don't have that mechanism because it's not controlled by the state, the internship program. And so the idea is that they would be compensated the same as the intern at the prosecutor's office. I know they do have an intern starting in a few weeks. These two people are actually classmates, so it might be kind of fun for them to be on opposite sides of the aisle in the courtroom for this program.
I don't have any questions.
Yeah, I
Pretty
think
straightforward.
great opportunity for someone.
I'm kind of surprised you don't take advantage a little more central to get a little more interns.
Yeah,
We had
Going forward.
an extern last year from Ferris State, but that was undergrad, not law school. Is the first time. I think it's good timing. We've been in office for 5 years. We started out in this building with myself and 2 legal secretaries and office manager. So back then probably wasn't a good time to bring on an intern. I want to get our processes in place first before we began this opportunity. So I think we're at a place now finally where I think it's a good idea.
And hopefully we can get some of them to come back and stay.
That's my hope.
That's the other advantage of having an intern. I like the area.
I've already told this person that they're gonna take over my job later on down the road.
it's good to have successors.
Exactly.
Yeah, there
Exactly.
you go.
All right,
I'm also-
move to bring forward the approval of the Isabella County Public Defender's Office to begin an 11-week internship program with a compensation of $8,800 to be paid out of the contractual services line item in the Public Defender's Office budget to the Board of Commissioners meeting next Tuesday.
Okay, I will support that. Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. That has passed, and we'll move that forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have consider recognizing the month of May in Isabella County as Motorcycle Awareness Month by proclamation as presented by Abate of Michigan Region 21 and authorize the board chairperson to sign the same. Good morning, and
I'm Greg Brown, representing Michigan Abate Region 21, which is Isabella, Clare, Osceola, Macomb, Acosta counties. As far as it goes, we're trying to get May declared Motorcycle Awareness Month. This is something I take a lot of passion in. I've pretty much been raised on two wheels. I mean, it's from the time of walking, I've pretty much been riding a motorcycle. I've been a commercial driver for over 25 years. So I see a lot of things out on the road that really raise awareness with me because people just don't pay attention when they're driving. So, when it comes to motorcycles, people really don't see us. They don't pay attention. Thankfully, the law's been passed for the hands-free phones. But I still see a lot of issues with that because 10 cars will pass me in my semi truck and 9 of them will have a phone in their hand. So we're really trying to push education and awareness, getting it out there, teaching our young drivers that, take that extra second and look twice. Could be their neighbor's life they're saving.
have any questions? I don't have any
I
questions.
don't-
Just by
I-
comment when you get done, but
Yeah, no, I think overall this is good because, if you're looking for motorcycles, you've got, other two-wheeled vehicles and pedestrians as well, if you're making a double look too. So it serves a wide field.
And I kind of try to tell people, it's not, Abate, obviously it started around motorcycles. My personal opinion, I don't focus just on motorcycles. Because look twice, I mean, you could be saving a construction worker's life. A child playing on the side of the road or crossing the street in a school zone. I mean, there's just so many different applications the whole look twice can fit in.
AV stands for more than just motorcycles. It's more about education and awareness.
the last couple of years, I've noticed that, I was looking at the other counties as well, Macomb, Costa, Osceola, and Clare, and it seems like those are the counties we're working on with other projects, so it seems like
Right.
we've been able to do more of a collaboration together, so this is another one where we're all kind of working together in this central area, because I think some of the problems, even with like the public defender's office, we're talking about collaborations with surrounding counties, so it's always nice to keep those
And
open and those.
And we do ask the townships and the villages, we give them the same proclamation, ask them to make May motorcycle awareness. So we try to hit as many as we can, but as we are aware, in all these counties, there's several townships and some of them are way out in the country. So we ask our members to, and drop them off wherever they can. And we're also gearing to ask more of the townships that or the villages per se, especially like Farwell, because you have a lot of traffic through Farwell, Shepherd as well. We're trying to get the awareness signs placed over the highway during the month of May, and asking we've also asked the reservation if they could possibly become aware and post it out on their big board out on 20 during the month of May, but we haven't heard back. So we're out there diligently across the state of Michigan trying to get out all the counties and the townships and just basically not just for motorcycles, but just take that second look.
Um, yeah, I definitely recommend Mount Pleasant and Union Township. If I can forward this to trustees.
The further we can push it, the better.
That would be wonderful.
Let's see if I have anybody in Clare I can forward this to. You know, that up there I see motorcycles a lot stopping them downtown.
Well, this is the area. This is
Yeah.
Belmont. We are a motorcycle club. This is,
Well,
Traveling north.
Anyone heading north,
Mhm.
obviously on two wheels or even in their cars, whatever, they're passing through our communities,
Mhm.
so. This is a heavily traveled area for motorcyclists.
Almost
All right, I'll make a motion to move this on to the Board of Commissioners meeting to move forward the recognition the month of May in Isabella County as Motorcycle Awareness Month by proclamation. It's presented by ABATE of Michigan Region 21 to the Board of Commissioners Tuesday.
I will support that.
do we have to read the resolution now or is that at Tuesday's meeting?
Tuesday's meeting,
Yeah, we'll probably read it during
Mhm.
the regular meeting.
yeah,
Okay.
Make
Just wanted to
it,
double check.
make it, yeah,
yep,
that's
Put it out
usually
on
how we do it. So
YouTube,
Mr. Sweeney's gonna be there just for that, so we can read
right.
it. So he already tried to
I'll
get out.
zoom
Well,
in.
thank you, yeah.
Thank
Um,
you very much.
Thank you.
Is there any more discussion? We do have a motion.
Oh,
on the
yeah,
floor. Sorry. Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The motion is passed. We'll move that forward to the work
All right,
session. So
thanks.
thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Okay, announcements.
I don't have any announcements.
I do not have any either, so we will move to a call to the public. I'll just depart it, so I see no one in the physically in the room with the hand raised. Is there anybody online?
There is not at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, at this time, I will close the call to the public and I will call the meeting adjourned. Thank you.